I work on Dynamics CRM. I work on Dynamics CRM Online project. Then I got opportunity to migrate online to on-premises. We had a reason to do that. So in Singapore, they always consider about the data privacy, and they have a very strict data policy. For when we were doing that, we was using Dynamics CRM Online 365. So the reason why they wanted to migrate from online to on-premise was that at that time there were no data center in Singapore. It was in Hong Kong. So it was a concern for them, especially in the health data. So it's sensitive. It could be HIV, it could be so many information. Even their prime minister information they have in these healthcare systems. And the medicine they are using these are very important data, especially the pharmaceutical companies and personal wise. Let's say if I have any disease and I don't want to disclose to anyone, so if someone get access to these information, what they can do, they can blackmail you. It's so data wise, Singapore has a very good GDPR, very good data protection laws, and they always consider about it. And the cybersecurity wise, when we were doing the systems, they were doing like we had to go through very painful cycle, but which is very important to make sure our product is secure and no one can access from anywhere. So we can talk about, I don't know, we can talk about in more videos about it, how the experience. I learned a lot, and I had to work on very strict and very tight environment and very restricted environment. So if you are working in a very restricted environment, you might need to understand the difficulty and how you overcome this situation. So I would like to talk about that as well. So when I'm working in that company, so what we did for the first initial project which I worked, it's related to healthcare. So it's related to elderly people information, how we are keeping in the CRM system. I don't discuss about in detail. These are confidential company information. So I don't want to talk about the project or the names or anything. I'm saying that how we've done and what whoever listening to this can gain anything from that. So what we've done, we initially were using online. It was very successful, easy deployment wise, and but ideally the developers should not have access to the production environment. It doesn't matter which company it is, especially the client, they need to understand that if developer has access, they can, there are agreement and all these things and you can't share this information, but always try to make these boundaries and try to draw the line. Developer can have a development, QA, UAT, staging. Some people say it should be the replica of live environment, but it's depend on your organization policy. So you can create similar data sets. You have people, right, the client. So instead of using UAT, it's always use accepted testing environment, right? So you can use and also the integration point. So like if you are doing healthcare system, we had like I don't know how many integration points, daily jobs. We were using Kinsuite SSIS tool. They were use service bus and so many integration. We are sending file, we are receiving file, we are calling APIs, we are calling API, we are sending response to APIs. We were doing so many integration points, because it's like that. Let's say you are doing any health test today, so that data need to be up to date, so need to send to the the main systems. So then they need to share this information. We have daily jobs. Mainly we were in CRM, we were using the Kinsuite soft tools to handle these things. They using SSIs, you can do the scheduled jobs. And we had very good experience, like how to do the timeout, all these things. So mainly I would like to generally talk about the things I've done Then we can technical wise, maybe separate video, we can talk about what you can load. So while I'm speaking, I can talk about the things, maybe few details about it. So we migrate from online to on-premise. Reason is the data security, and they did not like it. So then even we had a discussion with the Microsoft CEO in Singapore. So they were trying to push us, like we had like a 2,000 or more than 3,000 user for the online. So it's for them saying that, oh, our system is using by Singapore healthcare sector. It's very good repo. It's not about money. So they can say they are using CRM online and they can use for the marketing purpose. Previously they were doing it, but they were trying to push it. But from our company level, they decide, no, we can't do this. We wanted to migrate from online to on-premise. On-premise. I don't know. Still blah, blah, blah. So it's happening. So on-prem environment, we migrated it. So it's one of the painful tasks we had to do. And when we are setting, we were the company who had the separate cloud. They call cloud separate environment, separate setup for the health sector. Like servers, we are not using the cloud servers, Azure or AWS. We were using Bit, but mostly we were using our own company infrastructure, what we call it, right? Infrastructure. So we were having the servers. So let's say if I am doing a migration from online to on-premise, I had to do from A to Z. Like for example, I need application servers. I need to send a request to the team who are doing that, create these servers. Then what is the next point, right? You create the servers. Then installation. The CRM installation the development team had to do. But SQL, they have a separate data team. They were doing SQL. So when we are doing normally, if it is a health system, if they have this, I can't remember the critical A1 or the critical level. So like the mission critical systems, they need to have a separate disaster recovery, we call DR. If anything happens, that we should be able to up the other environment and should be able to function. If it is a hospital, right? If something happened to your existing system, and if you can't function, what would happen? The people can't, use the system. For that purpose, we have decided to use. They have this DR system in place. So then you need to set up all these things. So I got that opportunity to install the CRM and setting up IIS, and you need to raise a firewall. Setting up firewall, I don't know. You need to understand all the ports. For example, the CRM to communicate with the SQL database, there's a specific port. But these companies, they were not using this specific port. They will open separate port. So we need to communicate only through that port. So likewise, I don't know, network load balancing, yeah, because if your system is hosted, right, so it should load balance. Let's say if you have more than, I don't know, 5,000 users, and if you have big processes, right, it will slow down if you have only one server. So if you have multiple servers, then you had to do the load balancing for the CRM I'm talking about. So that time we were using IIS, and they had like their internal load balancers. So we had to do so many configuration for that to make sure it's working fine. And the setting up, opening port, working with the network system team, and what else? We had to work with different team to do this. So we work on that as well, and also I can remember network setup, and the firewall opening, and what else? We done so many things, and also we've done. We had to talk with we had to work with multiple teams. Yes, cybersecurity team. So once we set up our system, if it is online, even on-prem system, you need to make sure that no one can access, like no one can do anything, like no one can hack or do anything. So then we need to do the pen test, what we call penetration testing. So we had a separate team, and also we had to do external as well. And when we are working with them, then what they were doing is they will try to access, and if they will check, in the servers you have a ciphers, what are the security things we need to enable. They had two things, the server hardening. When you are doing the hardening, you need to make sure that there's certain security settings are applied. Like normally when you are maintaining the system, you need to apply patches. For example, Microsoft monthly or weekly, they release patches. For database they do that, for the operating system they do that, for the CRM they do that, like CRM upgrades. So you need to do that. So we had to do that. We had to coordinate with other, like if it is a server level, we had to coordinate with the system team. They were doing that, these patches, my maintainers. And the penetration team, they will suggest you need to do these things. You have this issue, then we had to fix it. If in your CRM system, if you are using iframe or any other thing, and if anyone can access, and if anyone can do anything, they will ask you to make it fix that issue. And also, the security hotfix, sometimes they identify some vulnerabilities. Like for example, you are using Telerik, I can remember that time, and they identify there's a security vulnerabilities in Telerik, and they ask to upgrade to the version. Once you upgrade, then you might have some additional issues, but you have to do that. If there's any security, that's a plus priority. It doesn't matter whatever you are doing, but focus on the security, fix it. Major security update you need to apply. If there's any, if Microsoft find it out, or whoever servers, right, they find out, there's huge security vulnerabilities, and they will decide, tonight we are applying it. It doesn't matter. It's if you are working in the health sector, I think same thing for the government data. You need to do it immediately. They have teams to do that, and I mean they coordinate with that. Project team had to coordinate with them. So it's kind of nice experience to how to understand this big corporate companies are working internally. And also they had events. It's nice experience. The people wise and different, I mean, had a different, people to people are different. Like we had who came from India, who came from Pakistan, who came from Philippines. I had a very good Philippine friends. Hong Kong, China, and Singaporean, of course, because it's a Singapore company, and Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. So I'm from Sri Lanka. So we had this different people, and working with the multicultural environment. And to be honest, right, there were no racism, and everything is controlled in Singapore. So everyone can work and get the respect. If you are performing well, you will get the opportunity. That's it. Whoever talented, they will get the opportunity, regardless of the race, color, or anything. So that's one of the best thing Singapore has done, compared to, regardless of the other countries, compared to other countries. They are still doing very well. And they have Malay, they have Chinese, and whoever. I think now immigrant, like maybe 50%, 40% running, but they're running, and they are valuing the high tech people. Even they have a different visa for different, like I think now if you are earning more than $20,000, like high skill, like high shortage technical skills, rare technical skills, they will give different visas, like architect position or this kind of. But normally they have different. They have the employment pass categories. First, normally they will give call S pass, then the employment pass. Employment pass, you will get more access, and you can bring your family. And they have certain salary limit. Let's say if it is, when I was working at that time, I can remember it was like $8,000 or something at around 2022, I think 2022, for you to get an employment visa, employment pass they call. So they have these rules. You need to show your education, certificate, experience, and company need to prove that they don't have locals. That's why they're hiring it. So it's like all the other countries, but they always, most of the tech companies, they need outside talented people, so they are valuing it. So and they're doing very well. So the company wise, the country, everything, it's good experience. But I did not talk about the negative factor yet. But I would say, before ending this video, the negative part I have seen is the work pressure. It's high pressurized environment, and work-life balance I haven't seen there. I don't know other company. Most of the company, because I got like maybe 50, 100 pens there. 80%, 90% people are complaining about the work-life balance. They don't have it. Sometimes deployment you need to do in the weekends. And especially if you're working like health sector, government sector project, you can't do in the daytime. Or if you're in the daytime, you need to do in the overnight. And sometimes weekend. I do not like that part, to be honest. I don't like. And also, they think about always work, the balance. I mean, like if it is 8 to 6, right? You don't get a chance to relax. But we are human. We are not slave, right? And especially we have good education. I don't know. It doesn't matter whether you have good education or not. Everyone has that right. They are human. Why we are earning money? Because we wanted to live, right? So if you can't live, that's the main reason I left Singapore. I need to be honest with that. Otherwise, I would have stayed in that country still. Security, food, everything you have, shops, everything you have, but only problem was the work-life balance. But UK, I have seen that. UK, I got that. That's why I'm staying here. Even working in Sri Lanka, I had that. It's better than the Singapore. I don't know. It's a cultural. I heard Japan also like that, but it's not worse than Japan. But they have to change. But I work with the Gen Z. Because when my project, I had 3-4 interns. They were friendly with us, and they were very good guys. They did not like to work like that, but they are managers, directors, and higher management. They want that to be happen, and also they have to change that culture. To be honest, we are human. Think about that. Why we are working now? This AI changes and all these things are coming. They can think about it. They pay high salaries, and they wanted to get the output of that. I know that, yeah, but think about the human aspect. So that also very important. I'm not sure about other countries. I work with the Canadian company, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Australia, UK, and Singapore. So Singapore is one of the worst compared to that. That's the negative point. If they can improve that, if they can think about human and human rights, I don't know, it's kind of a human rights or not, but think about, for example, right, we study from the childhood. Do we like to study? No, we have to do that. Some people like, but why we are studying it? So we need to have a better life. That's the reason parents are telling us. So let's say, okay, we studied, we got the degree, we got the MSc, masters, whatever, then we got the job. So now we married, we have kids, we have family, we have girlfriends, right? So when we are working in this kind of environment, what we are expecting, we need to be happy. We need that work-life balance. We need to go for vacations, and we need to take leaves. We need our weekends with families, not with the deployment. If you do not have a way, find a way. Introduce it downtime. Fix these issues. That is very important. If we are not doing it, I don't know how long people can't work for a long time. I had that barrier in mind. Let's say if I have a deployment in 9 p.m, then whole day I have that in my mind. I don't know for other people. I will go outside, but I need to be available 9. Sometimes if you start deployment, it will go sometimes 2, 3, 4. Because sometimes in the deployment, you might get issue. So if you have issue, you need to fix it. So then the next day, the Sunday, you need to wake up. The team who are doing the verification, they will verify. If there is an issue, you need to fix it. for me, I don't get comfort for that as well. So it's like, I feel that was the saddest part. I think as a country they need to think about it, but now they're in development states. As a country, as a company, they need to think about it. Think about the human aspect. What human like? Give them the break, 8 to 5, finish it. After that, you don't matter. They are using WhatsApp heavily. They send WhatsApp messages, man. I don't know. The managers, they are eating a WhatsApp. They always asking, oh, what's the status? Or then if they ask 6:30, right? Then you already left. Then you need to reply them. They have done it, and they have WhatsApp group. They are sending a messages to everyone, even if they are not part of that deployment, they are sending to everyone. Oh, I've done. So it's WhatsApp. Even it's not their communication tool. They were like different company was trying to different tools. But let's say they have internal tool. Even now, do you have Teams, right? All these tools you have, and even if you are sending a messages from Teams, think about it, right? You should not be doing it. Let's say you have a cutoff time, 8:30 to 5, finish. That's it. But for Singapore, it's like 8:30 or 9 to 6 or something. 8:30 to 6 something. They work more, 40 hours per week. But UK we work 37. So, and limited number of leave. If you are based on if you are a citizen, PR, you get more. And if because they have different contracts. So normally, if it is a permanent job, you will get the leaves. But if it is a contract, initially you will get the contracts. After that, once you perform, they decide, oh, this guy is good, then they will give you the permanent role. So then you will get more benefits, like you get the bonus, you get the money. But it's not all about money. I don't know. This video is too long, but when I'm talking about this, I can keep on talk about it. So at the end, it's better I'm talking this at the end. Otherwise, people would realize. But I don't want to. I'm not condemning any country or anything. But I'm saying this is what I felt. I don't know. I'm not sure whether I will go back again to work in Singapore. I might, but I would see whether I will get that. If I get that, then that's what mainly I want. As a human, I need to, working is fine. I need to earn money. I need to feed my family, and I should be doing something rather than doing nothing, right? Or traveling or something, because I'm not the influencer or whatever. So I need to do a job. That is fine. I'm okay to do that. But 8 to 5, 5 days. That's it. 4 days, 5 days. That's it. Weekend. After office hours, I don't need anything. Any communication. I mean, if it is a critical, it's always software, right? If something happened to your system, if it is a critical system, but then you get the, next day you should not be working like after early morning. You should be work after 12 or something if you are working on afternoon. These things you need to always consider. Human aspect of it. So I'm giving suggestion, but I think it's better. Otherwise, people would not stay for a long time. They would try to, tech industry is always pressurized environment. You know that, right? If there's an issue, if it is an urgent issue, you need to fix as soon as possible. So then you are putting your pressure. You are in a very pressurized environment. You need to make sure you don't make any mistake, and you need to fix, understand. You need to talk to multiple people. They're asking what happened. Can you up the system? Oh, something's wrong. Can you restart the servers? Still not working. System is not working. So the people will complain. I don't know. If you're using a Teams, that time we were using Skype for Business. Like I was getting like 100 messages saying sometimes, oh, there was an issue. I know. Then I restart the service, it work. Sometimes not. Then you need to fix the issue and deploy. Then we work from I work sometimes. I can't remember few days. I work, especially the COVID time. That time we start work from home. Before that we were always working from office. I think that was the worst period. Then sometimes I had to do that. No. Before that, I think even they did not allow to. Like most of the companies did not allow to work from home. They had separate policy, but they changed it. And that that was about it. But positive wise, yeah, security, the things you can learn, and salary, and you can enjoy. You get the places, you can visit more places if you want to play. The playing status, if you want to play football, you can play. You can, if you want to play volleyball, if you want to run, if you want to swim, you have everything. You have everything, and secure. And the places, the house condition, food. In the food stores, they have categories like A, B, C, D. If it is A, it's good. And I hardly get food allergies from Singapore. Most of the time, I try to go for AB shops or AB stalls. And but when in UK, I get most of the time because it's not clean, and they don't need to consider about it because you don't have policy. No one is checking. But in Singapore, they're checking it. If you violate that policy, they will terminate your contract and you can't continue. You can't do your job. You can't continue your company. So that's how they're controlling. I like that. But it has plus and minus. Yeah, you always can talk about it. They control the human. We are in the rats who are running in that race. We are in rat race. That is there. But if you can get out of from that rat race while you are working in that black in box, but if you try to see the outside the box within that box, I don't know whether I'm trying to, you are getting what I'm trying to say, then you can think about it. We are not rats, we are human. We need to think about as a human what. It's not all technical, man. What you need to do, you do the technical part, you do this, coding. What else you need as a human? Think about it. You need to enjoy travel, yeah. And you need to think about your family. You need to talk with your friends. The communication. It's not all about working. Think about outside the box. Try to escape from that box. Right? And don't stay in the box saying that, oh, day and night, wake up in the morning and I finish at the end. It's not like that. You need, you think actually what you really need. Is it only working? Try to find different. Maybe you can help others. I'm not saying always helping. Maybe you can do different things. You can sing. You can write a song. You can write a book. You can read a book. I don't know what else you can do. But try to find it rather than stay in the same box. Good day. Bye.